you have to be so careful with what you say.
You do.
Because your intentions may have been absolutely what you say. But once people hear you say something, it is not about what you said, it's about what they think your intentions are. So everybody's got to be really careful. I'm sorry.
Guys, for the first time, Whoopi Goldberg totally avoided calling out Donald Trump and Elon Musk by name during the latest episode of The View. The outspoken host, known for her sharp takes on politics and pop culture, took a surprisingly cautious approach while discussing the recent security breach involving top Trump officials. As the panel dissected the embarrassing mishap where a journalist was accidentally included in a private military group chat, Whoopi took a moment to warn her co-hosts about the dangers of name-calling.
Should Democrats fight harder? Should they name call back? Should they shout? I think they should be strategic. I think they should. I don't think that the names help. I think right now there's a Wisconsin Supreme Court race that Elon Musk is pouring millions of dollars into to get the Republican seated. Democrats have a chance to fight there and have a strategic, tangible impact. Or Mike Waltz's seat in Florida, the national security advisor, is up in a special election. You could win a House seat. Do that rather than the name calling and trying to get headlines.
But the reason Donald Trump has all of these people following him is because he did that name calling. It attracts the press in a way.
Yeah, demagogues are going to demagogue.
But I'm sorry. I was just going to say, you know, you have to be so careful with what you say.
You do.
Because your intentions may have been absolutely what you say. But once people hear you say something, it is not about what you said, it's about what they think your intentions are. So everybody's got to be really careful. I'm sorry.
Speaking directly to Joy Behar and Alyssa Farah Griffin, she advised, "Listen, y'all, we can sit here and say whatever we want, but we know how this works. You start throwing certain names around, and suddenly you're the story instead of the story being the story. So let's keep our focus where it needs to be." Joy, known for her no-holds-barred opinions, looked amused but took the hint, while Alyssa, a former Trump White House staffer, nodded in agreement. But just because Whoopi didn't drop any controversial names didn't mean she held back on the main issue.
The fallout continues over top administration officials using a group chat to discuss a military strike on Yemen that mistakenly included journalist Jeffrey Goldberg, my cousin. Here's what National Security Advisor Mike Waltz said about it last night. Take a look.
I take full responsibility. I built the group. My job is to make sure everything's coordinated.
But how did the number? I mean, I don't mean to be pedantic here, but how did the number?
Have you ever had somebody's contact that shows their name, and then you have somebody else's number there?
I never make those mistakes.
Right? You got somebody else's number on someone else's contact. So of course I didn't see this loser in the group. It looked like someone else. Now whether he did it deliberately or it happened in some other technical mean is something we're trying to figure out.
So,
visibly frustrated with the officials' handling of the leaked messages, especially their attempts to downplay the situation. I mean, you see a funny phone number in a group chat and you don't think to ask, "Who is this?" Come on! This is a big deal, and they know it, she said, shaking her head.
I don't know how many more things y'all are going to investigate before you actually have to do it. Because you've been investigating Hunter Biden's thing, they're still investigating. They're still looking for this, they're looking for that. But this was a mistake, and anybody else who did this would be gone. They would be gone.
Joy chimed in, pointing out how instead of admitting their mistake, the officials doubled down and even blamed journalist Jeffrey Goldberg for being in the chat. They're saying it wasn't a mistake, and they're blaming him. Like, excuse me, didn't invite himself to the group, Joy scoffed.
There was no classified material that was shared in that.
So then if there was no classified material, share it with the committee. You can't have it both ways. These are important jobs. This is our national security.
Was there any mention of a target in Yemen?
I don't remember mention of specific targets.
Was there any mention, Ms. Gabbard, of a weapon or weapons system?
I don't recall specific weapons systems being named.
This was a huge mistake, correct?
No.
That wasn't a huge mistake?
Well, I think they characterized it as
embarrassment. And by the way, we will get the full transcript of this chain, and your testimony will be measured carefully against its content.
Sarah Haynes added that Goldberg had actually handled the situation more responsibly than the people running the government. Whoopi, however, wasn't done. She demanded accountability, saying anybody else who did this would be gone, but instead of taking responsibility, they're acting like it's no big deal. And let's be real, they would have fired someone for way less. The audience erupted in applause, showing their agreement with Whoopi's stance.
Tell you, I'm going to start calling this in the cat box, because that's what they're doing. They're doing what cats do. When the cat uses a cat box, the cat goes like this and tries to cover it up.
Covers it all up.
Covers it all up.
Yeah.
So when you hear me say, and now from a moment from our cat box, you'll know what I'm talking about and what's coming. We'll be right back.
Despite her moment of restraint in avoiding certain names, it's clear that Whoopi Goldberg isn't backing down when it comes to holding people in power accountable. The conversation on The View may have taken a slightly different tone this time, but the message was loud and clear: this was a major security blunder, and someone needs to answer for it.